now then, Brid Town TV, please watch, like, subscribe, like we always say. We're honoured here today, actually. It's our first meet with a new gaffer, Mike Thompson. Mike, welcome to Brid Town, mate.
Cheers, it's good to be back. You know, it's familiar surroundings and spent quite a bit of time here last year watching the games. So, yeah, in this capacity, it's very good to be back.
So if we talk about it, obviously you've had 2 seasons at Brid Town. Do you know what? Let's look at Brid Town, because I think you've done an amazing job. I think you won it and then you came running up. Tell us about them 2 years that you've been away, what you've learned, and the journey you've been on.
Yeah, it was. I mean, as you say, it was a phenomenal 2 years. I think, you know, we built a squad really quickly that gave us an opportunity to be successful. You know, so I had to get to that point where I've never played football at that level. So getting the buy-in of the boys at that level took a little bit of time. But when they realised that we were going to do things as professionally as we did, the buy-in was there, and we was able to get boys to drop down a level again, which was great because they knew what they were getting from coming to Beverley Town. So the first year was a roaring success. You know, it was difficult because of COVID. We didn't play as many games as obviously I would have wanted us to, but we went on a 15-game winning streak. And like I said, the boys bought into that fantastically well. The year after, you know, it's difficult. You're the team that everybody wants to be. You know, regardless of who was playing, who's going to beat Beverley Town or who's going to go out there and cause that upset. So, you know, finishing second, we was disappointed. I didn't put it down to the last game of the season. You know,
Eden Rangers won it as well.
Yeah,
well done, Eden Rangers.
Eden did really well. You know, like I've just said about our first season, those boys went on a run in that second year. I think they went 9 on the bounce, and then we beat them. And then after that, they went on another winning streak to finish the season. So fair play to them. I think from our point of view, we didn't lose it that last game of the season. We had a little sticky patch in November where we dropped 5 points. You know, for me, the games that we dropped those points, it wasn't good enough. But like I say, it's a different dynamic when you're up there and people are trying to shoot you down. The boys were great. The squad that we had was fantastic. And to be honest with you, a lot of it was about preparing for this season.
I was just about to say that as well. Like, you must have gone in there with that dream, and what an amazing thing for that. I know we'll talk about Beverley, but I think this is great to know his background. You were preparing for one thing and one thing only, and
sure.
the community that supported you to get them to Northern Counties.
Yeah,
that must be your forget the league win and forget the runner up. Yeah, that's a great achievement.
I think for the club as a whole, I told those guys when I went in and got interviewed for that, the idea was I will give you a Northern Counties football club on the pitch. You guys have got to go out and do what you need to do behind the scenes, the upgrading of the ground, to make sure that that team can go out and play football in that Northern Counties year. So if you want to look at, we've achieved that. You know, there was a lot of hard work that went on behind the scenes that people don't see. You know, some great people in that committee that made that happen. But what we did was all geared around having a professional environment for the boys and the football pitch, and they did that.
So to me, massive well done. And you know what?
Cheers.
So obviously I know a little bit more from being around the club, but so how did coming from Bev Town to Brid Town come about?
There was probably more people that talked about it than I care to think. You know, people were saying it was the biggest non-story because everybody knew it was going to happen, and it was no secret. But to be honest, you know, Pete and I had conversations as soon as the season had finished, and I respected that as well because it let me get that done and get the season finished. And it was tough because, like we say, I've gone away. I've paved my own path in that respect, and I've managed to create a management team, a medical team, at a level where it's not known. You know, and there was so many times where we would said, "Oh, you're big time, or you're doing things too professionally." I don't believe it. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You know, so we've done it right. So it was difficult. I'll be brutally honest. It was difficult to walk away from, and very similar to what I said to Bev. There was only one job that I would go to. We was getting that club into the Northern Counties, and that was a huge achievement. So I wouldn't have gone anywhere else. I wouldn't have wanted to play or manage my football anywhere else. But when Brid come knocking, it was a different story, you know. So it was tough, and I had to think about it. And Pete gave me some time, which I really appreciate. But at the end of the day, it was, you know, I look at the infrastructure here, what we do, the ground, the club, the backroom staff, you guys, all of what comes into creating the environment here you can't say no to. I couldn't say no.
Well, what I'll say, massive welcome. I think you're the best man for the job. You know the club, yeah.
Yep.
It means something to you, and that shines through. Even when you, like say last season when we had a meet and all that, Brid Town shines through out here. So
yeah, I mean, we had so many games last year, mate, where clubs, and again, you know, the level, it frustrated me. Clubs were able to call games off when they were at full strength and call that COVID, the COVID card. So we had 9 Saturdays last season where we didn't have games. And that was really, really difficult because teams were making sure they were strong enough to players. But that by the by, I was down here. You know, and the guys down here know
means
that.
something to you.
Yeah, it does. It does. And I've had a couple of really good spells here. I've worked under some managers where I've learnt an awful lot. And I've spoke about it before. You likes of Gary Allenson. You know, I've moulded myself around what good I've seen in people like that.
It's called learning. That's called learning.
Yeah, of course it is. And you know, it's one of those where I've taken the good. I've also taken the bad out of some people that I've worked with and realised what not to do and how to manage players. And you know, I feel like it's a good time. It's a good time. The club's in a great place. It's playing at a level that the town deserves. You know, in my opinion, if we can get more people through the gates and supporting what it is that we're trying to achieve, then you know, I'm all over that.
So let's talk about, obviously we've got Tom, backroom staff. Are we allowed to announce, or are you still sorting out your?
No, we're there. You want to break this now?
Yeah, then Brid Town exclusive. Backroom staff system.
So there's obviously myself coming in as the manager. We've got Adi Costello, who's coming in as my assistant. So Adi's got a wealth of experience. UEFA licensed coach, coached out professionally in Sweden. He's local, so he's from Beverley. I've known about him for a long time, and we've had quite a lot of conversations, and now, you know, it feels right.
The philosophies meet up.
Absolutely, and that's the main thing for me. You know, this club attracts a lot of people's wants and desires to get involved. And I've had phone calls, you know, and I've been speaking to people. But for me, I can't put across my ways and means of doing things with the boys if they don't align with the people that I surround myself with.
Yeah.
So, Adi, we've had a number of great conversations. Like I say, we knew each other anyway in football circles, but we'd never worked together. When we've had those conversations, it looks great. You know, what we're trying to achieve and what we want to bring to the club this year in with that professional environment, that's going to work really well. I'm then bringing Ron Millen with me, who assisted me in some respects last season, but he's my goalkeeping coach.
Ron Millen.
So Ron, again, you know, very experienced guy, been around Leeds Academy, now retired from that, and he gave me so much last year in respect of support. But then you look at, I'm big on stats, to be honest, really big on stats, and we conceded 3 more goals than we scored, conceded 3 more goals than we played games. And in that respect, Ron has really drilled the goalkeepers that we have. We managed to have 2 goalkeepers that were of first team calibre, in respect of that. And they bought into the training that guy puts on. And I'm not going to say that I can do anything with goalkeepers. So I want to bring that. Yeah, absolutely. You know, and Ron's great in that respect. So myself, Adi and Ron are going to be a management team of 3. We're going to have a medical team of 2, which is really good news again. And this is where I say about, you know,
doing things the right way.
Yeah, we got given that big time card last year, you know, and people saying that you've got physios, what are you doing, Mum? We was creating that professional environment. So we're bringing that physio in, we're bringing a student in from the university who's going to work as a masseuse and do the strap-ins. And from a boy's point of view, I want them to be able to go out on the pitch and know that everything's dealt with, everything's taken care of. And when they come to football, they have to worry about what we've drilled them out on Tuesday and Thursday night in training. And this whole environment and setup
I love it. You wait for air. Goalkeeping
dedicated
coach,
goalkeeping coach.
medical staff. Now, obviously, I know that you've got another meeting and they're setting you up here to. You're going to be busy today, right? I know you've got a meeting with the reserves and all that. 2 more things I want to talk about. I want to talk about maybe your vision for hopefully bringing in the best of local lads. Obviously, we've created the pyramid, which is Jack Dawes to Rovers to Town, and about how you're going to hopefully embrace that so we get more lads on. Or
yeah, well, we're going to see that now. We're going to have a conversation with the guys from the reserves, and I'm really open to bringing these lads through. Now, the divide and the separation of the clubs over the years, when I played here, you know, we're going back to even 2010, it didn't exist. It honestly didn't exist. So if those boys want to buy into the way that we want to do things, I did something very similar at Beverley last year with their under-18s, where we gave them opportunity to send their best 3 players and train with us on a Tuesday, And if that then broke into being around the first team on a Thursday, when we do an awful lot of our shape and game related work, you could see that progression measure for them. We ended the season with an 18-year-old goalkeeper, a 19-year-old centre half, and 3 lads that had worked their way through the reserves.
So it's something that you are keen to do, and give
absolutely.
that path for the best to be able to come through.
Yeah, and if they're good enough, Kev, they play.
Yeah, cool.
You know, it's one of those where I think the divide between the two clubs league-wise is huge. It is big.
Yeah,
you know, so if those boys within the local community have got an opportunity to just showcase themselves, that's the main thing.
Right, thank you for that. And like I said, I'm getting a look from Dom, right? And the final one I want to ask you about is, obviously, there's been changes, obviously, and there's always changes. Obviously, the likes of Danny Eyre leaving, Pete Davison leaving, obviously Brett's gone now. Do you have ideas of who you actually want to be able to bring in and stuff like that as you're building your squad? Or is it a case of seeing what happens?
No, it's not a case of seeing what happens. My phone's been red hot, mate. We've had conversations galore. You'll see one other leave, maybe 2, but there's going to be one more that will go. And I'm building what I want in respect of buy-in from these lads. So the boys have got to understand my way of doing things. They've got to buy into the relentlessness and the intensity of the way that we train, and also the infrastructure of, you know, budget and how we're going to work this year. So, you know, boys have got to understand that. I've talked to just about everybody now, and I've already brought 5 lads in. I'm not going to mention a single name, I'm telling you, because we don't sign forms until July. And I'm not one of these.
July, we can talk about the squad and who you're bringing in.
100%.
Exclusive to Brid Town TV.
Yeah, exclusive to Brid Town TV. I am big on scarves above your head and shirts in front of you, but when you can sign on July the 1st and these boys buy in, and we'll have that conversation. But we've already got 5 in. I've got 2 that we will try.
It is one that amazing striker from Bev. I've been looking at the data for Rugby Bev, and there's a kid who you had. I want to say Norton or Horton.
John Horton.
And I've been looking at his stats, and he's like, he's a goal scorer.
Superb lad. And he was another one, Kev, where I'll say he started the season with the reserves. You know, he started the season with the reserves, didn't think he was going to get an opportunity with the first team. He bought in, we gave him that opportunity, and he scored 20 goals in 20 games.
I mean, I'm looking at the data, right? But obviously, we ain't going to talk names, because I want to respect people and clubs, and we're not here to be like the big fish nicking people. We'll do it all properly and do it the right way. But what I will say is, Tom, I look forward to having the chats about these players that you're bringing and what they're going to bring to our Brid Town dream, you know, because it is a dream. We've got a vision, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got a vision, and you know, we're going to talk at the forum a little bit later, but it's fine margins for me, and the first thing is creating that environment. And if these boys feel that they're in an environment that they can flourish, those margins become.
I love what you've got your way for air, goalkeeper, medical. I love this is our first chat, and I'm going to come away from this with a little smile. What I'm going to try and do this afternoon is I'm going to try and record the fans forum, so you get more of Mike later on talking in the fans forum, and I'm going to put that on tonight, so obviously you can hear what Mike says to the fans as well. But I'll try and get this on within the hour. But hey, what a great first chat, man. What a great, hey, put it there. Welcome to the club.
Thank you very much.
And like I said, I look forward to sticking your camera in your face Tuesday night, Saturdays, win, lose or draw.
Yep.
And like I said, we'll get to know what's there going on. But hey, great first meeting. Right, Brid Town TV, please watch, like, subscribe and share. Chairman's on to go into his next meeting, so I'm going to have to dash. We'll speak later. Take care, everyone.